Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody's having a great day today. I'm very excited to be sharing with you some of the news that we've got upcoming this week, and thank everybody for attending. We'll give everybody just another moment to jump in, and then we'll kick things off. Hey, Brian and Bob, good to see you guys as well. But we'll give everybody a few moments and we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming release that is happening on Friday, what some of the new features included are, which most importantly and most significantly is our UI UX update as part of this process. So we'll give everybody just another 30 seconds and then we'll kick things off. All right, I lied. We gave him 20 seconds. But with that said, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Brian Doyle. I am one of the co-founders here at vCIOToolbox, and I'm really excited to share with you what I will be sharing today. First, a couple quick housekeeping things. If you do have any questions, concerns, or thoughts, please feel free to drop them into chat. Also, if you've got any Q&A that you would like us to do, we will be holding an Ask Me Anything as we do at the end of each one of these calls. Should we go a little bit long today, I'll certainly make sure that we wrap up everything content-wise in the half hour that we've got budgeted together today. But certainly if we go a little bit longer and folks have questions, I'm available to answer those as well. So with that said, let's start off with what everybody probably came here to see today, and that's a little bit about our new update. But really, let's talk a little bit about what the vision at vCIOToolbox is, and really what we've been working towards over the last 2.5, 3 years that we've been operational now. We've always looked at ourselves as being the account management and advisory platform for the MSSP sector. Certainly, QBRs are a key component to that, and that is certainly where we kind of set our roots. But as you know, with the introduction of our vCISO module and our survey modules, we've really been looking at this all along strategically as a platform to support our customers' engagement, any form of engagement that they have with their clients that doesn't come straight out of their tool set. So one of the things that we'll be doing with this release is rebranding the platform itself as the OnPoint Advisory Platform. So of course, vCIOToolbox isn't going anywhere. That's certainly the name of the organization, but the product itself will be called the OnPoint Advisory Platform. And this is where we'll be starting as of Friday. And then in a little bit, I'll be sharing with you a little bit more of the vision as well. But under the advisory platform, we've got our vCIO section, which is really, what everybody's most familiar with in our platform, which is the ability to do client strategy, generate our quarterly business reviews, and manage our technology roadmap. Now, kind of involved in that was some vCISO templates. We're launching on Friday the GRC module, which is really a risk and compliance module that will continue to be expanded out throughout 2022. And it's really going to be focused on those MSPs that are starting to elevate and provide more and more security services to their customers and give them an opportunity to build a vCISO as a service program or compliance as a service program, or at least at a bare minimum, be able to do projects around compliance preparation for their customers that might be facing compliance requirements. But as we all know, cybersecurity, none of us are immune to it. And with the increasing challenges around getting cyber liability insurance and other forces that are facing our world, just having a good governance structure on how security is operating is a great thing for an MSP as well. And our GRC module is really going to help the MSPs stay organized in that sector without commingling it so deeply into their QBRs. So if I was to kind of separate the two out, when we're doing our vCIO work and our QBRs, it's really focused on the business side of everything. We're doing a security and operational assessment to identify where the gaps are in process system security and training. And from those gaps, in combination with our asset measurements, we're building our budget and our life cycle and our forecast to share with our customers. When we come into the GRC side, we're really looking at trying to understand where those security vulnerabilities are, and do we have a good oversight program to make sure that as new threats emerge, that we're actually out in front of those threats and that we're staying on top of them. Now, while our tool sets certainly do a good job of doing that for us and finding those things in real time, what they don't do is give you a single point of aggregation for that information. And we'll talk a little bit more about that today. And then one of the last thing we're trying to do as we continue to build out this system in this release is kind of help you silo out the customer experience and start integrating that more into your customers' lives. While most of us have, customers are always telling me that they find this very valuable to have kind of a customer satisfaction, a net promoter score tool, or really a survey tool where they can build ad hoc surveys to speak to their engineering team, to their key stakeholders and decision makers. One of the things that we've seen is it's not being utilized to the fullest by our customers. So we're really going to be focusing on helping you stay with the long-term engagement process as well. This is especially critical if we're only meeting with our customers once or twice a year, because we have to have a way to make sure that we're staying engaged with them and we're seeing if there's risk. And as much as I love ticket surveys, and I'm certainly by no means thinking about or telling you to go without them, the reality of the ticket surveys are they just tell you what's happening in real time. Great for solving problems, not often good for getting great feedback. Also, not necessarily feedback from the individuals you need it from. We might be seeing everything's great with the rank and file, but any of you that have done a demo with me have heard me talk about the curse of the great MSP. And that curse is the more we do remotely and the more we automate, the less we're on site and the less things tend to break. And when that happens, that's often where our value actually gets called into question by our customers. The old question comes up, why are we paying $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month for this service when we're no longer seeing these guys on site and we're not having as many problems? So we want to make sure that we've got a mechanism to stay in front of that risk over time, look at it and see how that correlates to what we're seeing downstream. Are we seeing the same kind of feedback in both spots? Or are we seeing a different story at the executive level? And we'll be expanding on the customer experience module throughout the year. So we're really excited to start really bringing you this more of a cohesive platform for our support services, for our advisory services, and really help our MSP partners get ready for that next generation of what it's going to be an MSSP, or MSP. We've all heard it. It's a security first sale. We're becoming more strategic around security, but there's other opportunities like automation, like analytics. I'm seeing more and more MSPs starting to verticalize and pick certain line of business applications to be a part of. And if you listen to what some of the analysts are saying, the relative money coming in through reselling will be very flat for the channel, while more things move to marketplaces and of course direct sales. But there's a huge opportunity for attached consulting with those projects, actually geared to be almost 90% projection on that. So before we go into the new platform itself, let's talk a little bit about what's coming, what other features are coming into the system during this release. Over on the left-hand side, you're getting a little preview of the new look and feel within the application. While there'll be a similar workflow to it, and we certainly don't want to disrupt the apple cart for those that are existing users, where it's a much more refined look and feel. Gone are the big blue bubbles for buttons and things like that. And we've gotten to a much more streamlined and lean experience. And again, a primary reason that we're doing that is to continue to bolster our meeting view capabilities. We have seen immense success from our leading MSP partners who are driving the most revenue through the system in conducting these meetings via Teams, via Teams, via Zoom, or when they're in person doing it with a screen as a side piece to whatever paper reports they bring in, and really visually and interactively working with their customers. The other thing that is continuing to improve, and that's noted here, is we're continuing to update the dashboards. And what you're going to see as we continue through 2022 is we're going to the next tier of integrations. We're starting our integrations with Microsoft, the various RMM tools, so we can bring in other data sets in an automated fashion into our dashboards and reduce some of the time and complexity in the manual side of the audit. So stay tuned for some of those updates there. And I certainly encourage you, if you've got specific data sets you'd love to see in these dashboards, please let us know by going to support@vCIOToolbox and registering that feature request. We want to hear from you guys, and your input is what decides what's going into these products. Moving into other updates here, we start doing two-way PSA and synchronization now. One of the things that has been requested often from our customers is we're only capturing a portion of the picture as we're building recommendations into the system and pushing those recommendations into the PSA. We're not capturing the data coming back, those projects that are created first in the PSA that need to come back into vCIOToolbox, or some of those transactional activities that occur as well. So we now have two-way synchronization coming in, and in a few moments, I'll show you kind of the first landing place for that information and totaling. And you'll see in our future roadmap some things around key account management that are going to bring some dashboarding to support you there as well. Other things that we're bringing into the system this period is creating your own meeting types. This has been requested by many. The ability to not only utilize the pre-built meeting types, but creating your own meeting types to maybe handle different time periods or different assessments you want to do through the system. And when you create those meeting types, what it'll allow you to do is also create templates under that type so you can manage them just as you do the business review templates today, where you can, when you set up that meeting, it'll bring in the associated templates for that meeting type you've created, and then allow you to close those meetings at the end of each period and retain that data as you move further down the cycle to be efficient. So we're really excited about that coming out and giving you more control about what the use cases can be within the system. Another heavily requested feature that'll be coming into the system is creating meeting tickets. So now when you create that meeting event and choose your meeting type and assign your resources to it, you can also create a meeting ticket that they can charge their time to directly out of the system. For those of you that attended coaching last week, you caught a little bit of this then, but vCISO is now becoming GRC. We are building that to really be a GRC module for the MSP sector. In doing this, we're taking back the publishing rights for the reviews themselves. These are all bound to the regulations, so we will publish updates as those new updates come forward and really make sure that you're always staying with the latest, greatest regulations facing the your customers based on the type of audit they're undergoing. But we still give you the flexibility to build out different recommendation sets. So the recommendation catalog is still exposed to you. The ability to link to items will still be exposed to you. So, again, we want to make sure that we're able to push updates where we require to, but not take away the flexibility that you've grown accustomed to within vCIOToolbox. I've already kind of covered this a little bit, but we've got new and updated dashboards. I'll be showing you a few of those in GRC today. And then throughout the system, there's a lot more export and page print capabilities. We've been asked on certain screens if we could generate a page report, and that is now available to you. And you'll see even on this slide, there's a little page icon in the upper corner there allowing you to do so. So with that said, folks, I'm going to transition from a boring set of slides into the system itself. So as I come into the system itself, I'm going to start and preface, while I've got most data in here, this is still my QA system. So you're going to see some funky meeting names, things like that throughout. But as you can see, when you come in here, it looks very similar to the process when you first come into the system. We still have the initial dashboard that we have here with the newly added to-do list. So when you create tasks as you go through your assessments and your audits, you're able to track those tasks here. We still have our 30-day meeting roadmap and our revenue forecasts here. What you might be seeing, though, is everything's a little bit cleaner and sleeker, and we've started really expanding on our modules up here on the top half. So you'll now see that we could dive into our QBR section. Our GRC section is now where our security and compliance lives, and we've got a specialized dashboard for a global view here, and you'll see some customer views in a little bit. And then we come into our customer experience section where we're able to conduct our surveys and assessments. And we'll be doing a new dashboard next month for this area as well. Now, to focus a minute within QBRs, a couple big changes that have come into this section. First and foremost, when you come into a QBR, and actually I've got a different customer I'd like to utilize for this, you'll see that we now have our IT review page has gotten a lot cleaner and a little bit less burdensome for the users that were utilizing it before. One thing that we've really listened to is that we want to have our different sections collapsed and a little bit more differentiation between each topic here. So you'll notice over here on the left-hand side, servers and networks become their own block segments. And as we go through those questions, and we go save and next, it will open up the next set of questions that we need to work on. So we don't have that long laundry list effect going on any longer. We're really staying self-contained within the modules that we want to work on. Another big change that is coming into this review is you will only see the maturity levels exposed that are available to you in the review you're conducting. Those of you that have gone through training with me, many of you have heard me say in the past that, you really want, we have 5 maturity levels available to you to accommodate the existing version of the CMMC, but we really suggest that you use 3, maybe 4 for the QBRs. So you'll notice here that when I'm doing a business review, now it only exposes my 3 maturity levels based on the templates I'm using. And then I can flex through those templates here very easily. Over here within our meeting, within our question and answer key, you now will see new buttons for you for when you want to select all good and all negative as well. These are just some quick tabs to really allow you to answer these question sets a little bit quicker if it's an all or nothing proposition. Very similar to what you may have seen in the CIS side of things as well. Our meeting setup and checklist is a little bit different. That moves down here into the secondary menu now, but you'll see it has a very similar effect in terms of setting up your meeting, but we do have that now tied to whichever PSA you're on, that ability to create your service ticket. So again, for the most part, certain areas here stay very similar. Our goals page stays a little bit similar with a little bit cleaner look and feel. We still have the ability to jump to goals and challenges. IT review exists, but with a much cleaner interface going forward and streamlined process. And then we move into our roadmap and recommendations areas as well. So very similar on the TBR, but you'll see within the meeting view, it really cleans up that meeting view look and feel a little bit. And you'll continue to see improvements as we continue to update throughout 2022. Now I want to switch. Oh, and before I leave here, how can I forget? The most important part of this is that we've got the ability to see the two-way sync. So as everybody knows, we've got this manage area here where you're able to see all your recommendations that come into the system. Now, when recommendations come in from ConnectWise or another PSA, they're going to come into the section here, show on the roadmap here. And you will, not show on the roadmap here, and you'll be able to decide if you want to show them on the roadmap, but you won't be able to push them back to the PSA. So this really gives you an opportunity to, see some of that information in greater detail. And you'll notice down here at the bottom of my page, and I apologize with my resolution here, bunching it up a little bit, we're able to see the total forecasted value also here within the recommendations. This, of course, Cascade is a little bit different than what we might have in our customer roadmap, as this is showing us projects we might not be showing on the roadmap, as well as projects showing on the roadmap. And of course, those projects we've imported in from ConnectWise. So Ken, you asked a little bit about the questions. Some of the questions are being changed. We do have a new template release coming out in May for the TBRs. This is going to bring a little bit more compact level 1, but in this release, we're still leveraging the existing questions, as a lot of the focus has been on templates that are going to be going into the GRC module. Thank you for that question. So two-way sync will be coming in here. And when we expand out to the key account management module next month, you'll also be able to see the full pipeline there. It's kind of a deals section. And you'll be able to also see see this view within that area as well. Now moving into the GRC area, here we've got a number of different things available to you here. First thing is we start bringing in some threat intelligence feeds here so you can keep track of vulnerabilities in real time and some of the advisories out in the marketplace. Moving into templates, you'll see here we now start bringing in our security templates. And one of the major updates in this review is we've really started changing the scoring within these templates as well. So for those of you that have been using vCISO for a while, one of the things you know is everything's on a scale of 1 to 100. We've now started building these scales to meet the scoring and reporting requirements for each one of these different template types. So for the NIST 800-171, as an example, when you conduct that assessment, it will actually generate out your SPRS score, which is on a scale of positive 110 to minus 203. When you're doing a NIST CSF, as an example, it will generate a score that's on a scale of 0 to 100, but it will also show you within all the individual domains, both the controls categories and the 5 big domains, how you're looking there as well. The CIS version 8, same thing. It then uses the scoring methodology that's tied to the CIS scoring as utilized in the public process, and allow you to really use these reports in their full force and not just be giving your customer a directional view. Getting started with the new assessment is very simple. You can simply choose the customer you want to start a new assessment for, click on assess, and then you're going to add which programs you want to add to this customer's experience. So you'll see here, I can come in just like we do in QBRs and attach to different versions of assessments. And this creates the programs, which will also allow us to do long-term measurement and generate dashboards as well. Once I choose these programs, I can simply click into that program and begin my assessment. And one of the other things, those of you that have been using our vCISO module will see, we now have our scoring set up in a way that's going to not only produce the score that you're expecting within a NIST assessment, but also a much simplified question and answer interface. We now choose our question and determine if it brings risk or not within our review, and we can upload our evidence to support that as well. So it really simplifies that assessment process. One of the things that we're working on, and these are all things that are going to be done before the June timeframe when we move to our next generation of this, we are going to be doing the crosswalks between these templates as well. So as you start answering, let's say, a NIST 800-171, that will feed into any other programs you've assigned for your customer, like HIPAA, like ISO, and so forth. So we're really starting to pull these things together, and then we'll be working yeah, exactly. And then that's exactly what I'm talking about, Don. The measuring across multiple frameworks, it will be coming in with the mapping of the data that will be occurring over the course of the next 6 weeks. We've mapped out all that data, and now we're doing the linking in the database. So if I was filling out access control 3-1 in the NIST 800-171, it'll also correspond and answer those things on the HIPAA side of life as well. So, continuing, that's kind of where we're continuing here. And you'll see we'll be able to measure cross programs. And if I actually go to a different customer, you'll see as we complete those reviews, we have a notification of what the review scores were, what the last review date was. And when we click into those reviews, we're really able to get some nice dashboard data that we can share within, within a boardroom, where we're able to show how each different, this being a CIS, how each one of the 18 different controls rated, how many assessment items there were, depending on implementation group, how many are incomplete, how many have been satisfied risk, how much is risk that we've accepted, and so forth. I'm going to switch to a different program here. I'm going to go to my CSF for the same customer. And here you'll see a little bit more complete report. We see our overall score, again, our satisfied risk, our accepted risk, which is basically things that we saw in a deficient state that we're accepting, and then the count of how many risks were actually placed into your plan of action and milestones. Down below here, you'll notice that we're really seeing each one of the access controls and where they stand again in terms of adherence inside that individual control. And we're tracking score history over time, so we can really drill those different measures into our customer and manage this program long term as well. In terms of other elements within this, after we set our GRC program, we're able to tie to our strategic plan. So if we want to bring our strategy plan into that review, we can do so. Otherwise, we can just go to a straight report in a straight view that just shows us our assessment findings, scorecard, and plan of action. You'll see here within the assessment, this being the NIST assessment, we have banded colors, so you can see, where your identification questions are, where your protect questions are, where your detect, respond, and recovery questions are. Just helping you understand where you are within that process as you conduct your assessment. Our plan of action from a view standpoint looks very similar to what we have within the TBR side. We're able to plan, obviously build out our POAM, but one of the nice things that we've added into the system is you can now do assignments as well. Here, you're able to assign what resources on your team need to support this project, or what resources on your customer's team need to support it. So basically, we're putting that ownership piece into our plan of action and milestones here. And then as we move into the more section here, you'll see that we've got some standard reports that are built here for our strategy view. Ignore all my custom reports. That's my stuff. But you'll see here in our security and compliance report, as an example, we're able to generate our typical scorecard view. We're able to generate our compliance assessment with findings. And then we're able to generate our POAM, sorry, a little bit longer than I expected it to be, generate our POAM down at the bottom. Sorry, guys, our POAM down at the bottom, and you'll see down here at the bottom, we've got what the project is, what the projected budget is, what the start date and due date is going to be for those projects, its current state, and who its owner is. So we're really trying to put things in the structure that we need to report under most regulations, and really help you get to that information quickly. Now, what you won't see in the system, but I do want to make folks aware of, is the university is going to be getting an update. Yes, so Tyson, there will be a way that you'll be able to show the different POAM from the QBR recommendations. A lot of that's controlled in the managed dashboard, where you've got controls on what can be showing in each report as well. So those things have been planned for within the system, and certainly we'll be sharing more information on that as well. So great question, though, in a timely one. So yeah, this is basically kind of where things are headed with us. In the university, that'll be getting a whole new update, new content to reflect the look and feel. It's going to be focused more on education. And for those of you that are not aware, if you click on support here, this will take you to our regular support desk, where we've got an extended knowledge base of very common articles that you require as well. So, I encourage you to explore both of those when we conduct our release this Friday. You can actually go to the support section right now. And I'll close out with a little bit of our vision for the future. So the last thing I'd really like to share with you is kind of where we're headed over the next 3 months with this platform. In addition to the GRC, vCIO, and customer experience modules, we're going to be adding in an incident response module in the late May timeframe. In this incident response module, what we're going to be doing is really working on giving you an area to manage the communication and evidentiary workflow that goes with a large-scale response. Think of a ransomware hit or a widespread phishing attack with your client. Inside our system, you'll have playbooks that will allow you to then basically set up your incident. There'll be workflow that's coming into the system in our next release that will allow you to choose your team, your customers' assets, and create groupings as well for notifications if you do have a problem. So communication and notification can be managed within the platform as well. And then we're going to be able to attach to tickets that get created within your PSA system and bring in the evidence, just like we do within the GRC module, to allow you to build that evidentiary report that might need to go to an insurance company for a claim or to law enforcement down the road. It will also help you with the lessons learned component, as well as you'll have all this documented in one place from various systems and be able to conduct your lessons learned meetings after the fact. To the left over here, you see the key account management module. And really what the key account management module is going to do is bring structure to a lot of our ad hoc tools we have within the system today for account management. Many of you may know or may not know, because that's one of the problems we've identified, that we have a SWOT analysis tool, a business canvas tool, a customer rater already within the platform, but they don't live in very intuitive spots. So the key account management module is going to give you one spot to really be able to get to your customers, your contacts, be able to see your sales pipelines, and really look at your financial forecasts in greater detail with your customers, meeting reviews, things like that, really kind of a global view from an internal standpoint, and be able to do your strategy and planning as well. Build out those SWOT analyses, business canvas tools. We'll be doing some maturity level assessments within the system as well, and really give you that kind of planning area. So if you really look at it from left to right, the OnPoint advisory platform is giving you the ability to kind of plan out your relationship with your customers in the CAM, conduct your regular touch points, your TBRs with your customer under vCIO. For those customers that need compliance or deeper security requirements, GRC is going to help support you in that and really help you drive that forward. Incident response will become that module to help with the gathering of information when there is an event, and customer experience will allow you to continually get feedback from your customers to make sure your relationship is staying strong. So we really are, as I indicated at the top, there's always been a vision of making this an advisory platform. We appreciate all the feedback our customers give to us because that really helps us shape this. I say this with seriousness and no joke intended. I'm 4.5 years removed from being in the field as an MSP. That's a lifetime. I need to hear what's happening on the ground floor from you folks, and my team needs to hear that in order to make the improvements we need to be. And to just put some color to that, ransomware was really just coming on the scene as I was moving into this side of life. So things change quick in our industry, and we want to make sure we're being responsive to that. So with that being shared, what I'm going to do is shut down the share here and open up the floor for any questions. For those of you that have to leave us, we will be putting up the recording of this on our YouTube channel, so I'll send that to you as well. And certainly, if you have any questions for me directly, just reach me at my email address, bdoyle@vCIOToolbox. Really excited about this update, really excited about where we're headed as an organization, and I hope that's coming through in my messaging today. For those of you that don't have GRC as part of your subscription already, I'll be sending you, of course, there's a great deal when you get started. So we'll be making sure that anybody that is interested in that, you've got an opportunity to get on this as we kick this off. With that said, I'm done talking from a presentation standpoint. Does anybody have any questions? Customizations inside of the meeting types is you can name them anything that you would like, Tyson. So the question was, how much customization will we have in the meeting types? You can come in and create your own meeting types, and from there, you'll be able to create your own templates. There'll be no restriction in what you can name your meetings, what those templates can look like. You'll just have to, obviously adhere to the templated format that we have for creating templates and scoring. Any other questions, concerns, thoughts? And it doesn't have to be around what you saw today, anything in general. This is the Ask Me Anything portion of this today. We will be able to tailor reporting to meeting types within the Tyson, within the report. So the question was, will we be able to tailor reporting to the meeting types? Yeah, that's actually what the report designer is for today. So as you start creating some of that data and start creating those reportings, you'll be able to go into the report designer, which for those of you that don't know is under admin report designer from the left-hand menu. You'll be able to go in there and basically choose the data sets and arrange them in whatever flow that you want your report to be presented as. Any other questions, folks, as we continue on here? Well, with that said, it looks like questions are quieting to a minimum at this stage. Oh, here we go. I think we've got something here. Change in templates causes quite a bit of rework, tweaking existing templates, moving things around. Ken, I'm going to ask you to grab some time with me one-on-one on that topic, but for everybody there's a lot of new tools, if you haven't gone into the templates, to help with things like moving between topics, as an example. We're able to now move questions that live in one topic very easily to another topic. We released that, I believe, in the January release. And if you don't know where my release notes are, if you just go into the application where the envelope is on the top, you'll see at least the last 3 or 4 releases and release notes behind that. But continuing on the vein of that with templates, if you want to make changes in templates, we definitely recommend making changes to existing templates, eliminating questions that are no longer valid, bringing in new questions that you might want to add to that experience, as opposed to a wholesale change in templates. Because of those constraints, or excuse me, because of the fact that we want to keep it as one template set over time. In terms of moving things around inside the templates, we've definitely expanded that, and being able to add to templates becomes much simpler now, because if you take a new template and you just have 3 or 4 questions, you can just upload those 3 or 4 questions as an import now. And then because of the new controls to move it amongst topics, you can then place them in the topics that you want to. So we're trying to make the change control much easier within those templates. Don Sauer, this release drops on Friday. This is days away. I'm super excited by it, and we'll certainly be doing more workshops next week around this as well. Another question that came up is pushing updated dates and recommendations back to the PSA. I believe that is going to be happening, Tyson, in the with the two-way sync, but I will confirm that for you and follow up with an email a little bit later today as well. Any other questions, concerns, or thoughts, folks? Happy to answer them. All right. Well, again, for those of you that may have came in a little bit late, this is coming on Friday, and this is just the first step in about a 90-day plan we have to really expand out, vCIOToolbox advisory capabilities. Nothing's changing. Our core still with the TBRs will retain, retaining a lot of focus and continuing to improve there. But we're seeing an opportunity for MSPs to really expand and engage with their customers. And I'm here for a reason, right? It's my job to help you find new revenue sources. So, the TBRs certainly find new revenue very quickly for most MSPs, but we want to make sure that you've got other ways to create new revenue streams for you as well. With that said, I'll close again with, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to email me directly at bdoyle@vCIOToolbox. I will send recordings of this presentation to all those that attended today. And I look forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday when we resume our traditional coaching format at 3 o'clock Eastern, noontime Pacific. With that, I wish you all the best of days, and please let us know how you feel about things after you explore it come Friday. Take care, everyone.